Assalamu alaikum. I would like to welcome all Mu'mineen and Mu'minat to tonight's program. A big congratulations and celebrations and warm greetings from you from the Islamic Center of MOMIN on the birth anniversary of the first Imam, Imam Ali Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We would like to begin this program with a recitation of the Holy Qur'an, and for that I would like to bring and invite our dear beloved brother Hussain Badri, to come and recite the Holy Qur'an. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم. قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه إلى أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you so much, Brother Hussain Badri, for that beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran. Please, for his well-being, please recite a big loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For those who are just now entering in, welcome to tonight's program. Tonight's program will be as outlined. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, we will be reciting English and Urdu poetry. And then we will have the speech in English by Maulana Sayyid Ali Mousavi. Then at 8 p.m., we will start, or near 8 p.m., we will start the Kahoot, which the whole community can participate in and enjoy the live trivia game. Followed by Manqabat and poetry in Urdu, and then the Urdu speech by Maulana Sayyid Mudassir Ali Shah Moosvi. To continue to the next part of our program, I would like to recite some poetry on Imam Ali. On the day of Ghadir, Ali became Amir. Not only was he Amir, but he was Rasulullah's peer. To him he was really dear, and from Allah only does he fear. And faith is his gear, for him we all cheer. Next, I would like to bring our young brother Ayan Raza, to please come and recite poetry. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
آپ سب کو ولادت مولا امیر المومنین بہت بہت مبارک ہو. بس چند اشعار آپ کی خدمت میں. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. جب تمہیں کوئی کافر کوئی مشرکی کہہ رہا ہو جب تمہیں ارے کیا بتاؤ لطف کتنا اس طرح جینے میں ہے. کوئی کافر کوئی مشرکی کہہ رہا ہو جب تمہیں اور لوگ تو لفظوں کا حیدر سن کے دشمن ہو گئے. لوگ تو لفظوں کا حیدر سن کے دشمن ہو گئے. ارے وہ بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. اتری ہے آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ اتری قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ کیسے رہے دماغ، کیسے رہے دماغ زمین کا، زمین پہ اتری ہے آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ، تنہائی دور کرنے کو بنتے رسول کی، تنہائی تنہائی دور کرنے کو بنتے بنتے رسول کی، خالق نے ذوالفقار کو، خالق نے ذوالفقار کو بھیجا زمین پہ، اترے ہیں آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ، گر مرتضیٰ کا گھر نہیں ہوتا زمین پہ، گر مرتضیٰ کا گھر نہیں ہوتا ہوتا زمین پہ، باقی نہ رہتا خانہ، باقی نہ رہتا خانہ کعبہ زمین پہ، اترے ہیں آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ، اور بیکار بیکار ہے یہ اس کو جہنم میں بھیج دو، بیکار بیکار ہے یہ اس کو جہنم جہنم میں بھیج دو، ایک بوجھ ہے یہ دشمن، ایک بوجھ ہے یہ دشمن زہرا زمین پر، اترے ہے آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ، اترے ہیں آج قبلہ کعبہ زمین پہ، بر محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔
Muhammad wa'ajil farajahum. Thank you, our young brother Ayan Abbas Rojani, for that beautiful recitation. Please provide him another loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He fought for Islam with his spear. For Jannah, he is the cashier. For mankind, he is the Bashir. Although Islam is his main career, he is both doctor and engineer. To everyone, he is sincere, and he is Allah's wazir. We would like to continue our program by inviting our young brother Syed Amjad Shah, to please come and recite our Manqabat. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraju.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صاحب ناد علی غیر فرار علی، صاحب ناد علی غیر فرار علی، صاحب ناد علی غیر فرار علی. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. سنتے ہو کارزار کا منظر سناتا ہوں، جبریل ساتھ دو میرا خیبر سناتا ہوں. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. خیبر کی جنگ اب بھی ہے دنیا میں یادگار، 40 دن طویل ہوئی ہے یہ کارزار. خود ساختہ رسول کے تھے جتنے جانثار، میدان چھوڑ چھوڑ کے ہوتے رہے فرار. لشکر میں مسلموں کے عجب انتشار تھا، ہر ایک کے دماغ پہ مرہب سوار تھا. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. ہنستی تھی موت دیکھ کے ہر روز مار کا، مصروف بھاگ دوڑ میں تھے سارے سورما. یہ جنگ تھی کہ جنگ بھی شرمائی بارہا، 40 دن میں ایک بھی زخمی نہیں ہوا. مرحب جو پوچھتا تھا لڑو گے ابھی یہیں، تیگے چھپا کے کہتے تھے سارے نہیں نہیں. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. لشکر کی اب تری پہ یہ کہنے لگے نبی، گھبراؤ مت لڑائی کی یہ شب ہے آخری، اب کل جو مرد ہوگا علم پائے گا وہی. در پردہ تھا نبی کے لبوں پر علی علی، یعنی علم الف سے یہ لشکر اٹھائے گا، جو عین سے علم ہے وہ حیدر اٹھائے گا. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. ہر ایک کو شخص میرا ہی لیں گے رسول نام، بھاگے ہوئے تھے جاگے ہوئے تھے رات کے، آنکھیں تھیں سرخ فان، جو چھوٹے قد تھے پنجوں کے بل تھے کھڑے تمام. اتنے میں لائے عرش سے جبریل یہ پیام، لشکر نہ کر سکے گا تمہاری کوئی مدد، اللہ کہہ رہا ہے کہو یا علی مدد. سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا سنو. حق سے علم ملا سوئے خیبر علی چلے، تھامی رقاب فتح نے آ کر علی چلے، دین خدا کا بن کے مقدر علی چلے، لشکر چلا زمین پہ ہوا پر علی چلے. آیا ہے پھر جلال امام مبین کو، جبریل جلدی کشتی تھام لو آ کر زمین کو، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو ماضی سے اپنا پیچھا چھڑاتے ہیں کس لیے، اپنا ہدف علم کو بناتے ہیں کس لیے، پنجے کی سمت انگلی اٹھاتے ہیں کس لیے، اب سمجھے ہم علم وہ جلاتے ہیں کس لیے، ان کے بڑوں کو حق سے یہ منصب ملا نہیں، خیبر کا زخم ہے جو ابھی تک بھرا نہیں، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو جاتا ہے کس شکوہ سے اللہ کا صد، خیبر کا در اکھاڑنے تنہا بشد و مد، پہنچا قریب در یوں ہی وہ بندہ عہد، بے ساختہ علی نے کہا یا علی مدد، ایسے اکھاڑا لمحے میں خیبر کے باغ کو، جس طرح شاخ سے کوئی توڑے گلاب کو، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو تقسیم سب میں مال غنیمت کیا گیا، حیدر کو حصہ سب سے زیادہ دیا گیا، اس امر پر سوال نبی سے کیا گیا، کیوں عدل سے نہ کام یہاں پر لیا گیا، بولے رسول دخل کیا تجھ جیسے فرض کو، دیتے ہیں حصہ دگنا شریعت میں مرد کو، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو 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 خیبر کا ماجرا، سنو بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
Jazakallah. Thank you so much, Brother Sayyid Kumail Rizvi. Please recite another loud salawat for him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. To the poor, he is very generous. To the oppressor, he was very merciless. Never was he jealous, and never was he envious. To Allah, he was his most precious. To continue our program, we are blessed to have two great scholars here with us. And with this, I would like to invite Maulana Sayyid Ali Moosvi to please come and address the MOMINeen. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من شر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه أعوذ بالله من شر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. I wanted to first begin by mentioning how happy I am to be here amongst you on a night and a day like this. Really, when we look at such an occasion, it is an occasion that brings joy, it brings happiness to the heart of every believer throughout the world. Regardless of nationality, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of sect, this is a day which is a day of celebration for all of the believers, all of those who are the lovers of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad li Muhammad wajh farajah. When we begin to speak about Imam Ali alayhi salam, it's really difficult, at least for myself, it's very difficult to know where do you begin. Because when we look at Ali, we are looking at in reality a fountainhead of virtue. No matter what perspective you look at this individual, you see that he has reached the pinnacle of that virtue. Whether we are looking at Imam Ali on the battlefield, he is the most ferocious of warriors. No one can stand before him. Whether we look at Ali on the prayer mat, there is no one who can worship like he worships. No one comes close. When we look at Ali in front of the oppressors, he stands firm. When we look at Ali in front of the widows, in front of the orphans, we find that he is at the utmost peak of humility. It's really something that we see this individual who has reached the very pinnacle of perfection. Every facet of his being is in essence the facet of the Qur'an, what the Qur'an teaches us to be. Now, of course, we are known as the Shias of Ali. We are known as those who follow Amir al-Mu'mineen. The word Shia, when we look at what it means those who follow. But one of the things which this brings to mind, and this should be a focus of ours on a night like this, is that one time, during the lifetime of Amir al-Mu'mineen, something happens which should shake every single individual that calls themselves a Shia of Ali. What happened? One night, a group of individuals, they approach Imam Ali alayhi salam. And as they approach him, they eventually reach the Imam. And the Imam, he turns to them and he asks them a simple question. He says, "Who are you?" The Imam wants them to identify themselves. These individuals, they turn towards the Imam, they say, "Ya Ali, we are from your Shias, we are from your followers." The Imam, he says a simple thing to them. He says, "Then why is it that I do not see the signs of the Shia of Ali in your faces, in your souls? I'm looking at you, I don't see the signs of the Shia." This is a very deep lesson to everyone, my brothers and sisters, all of those who love Amir al-Mu'mineen. There is going to be a day when we see our Mawla, when we see our Master. The question is, on that day, is the Mawla going to be able to recognize us as his followers? When he looks at me, when he looks at you, is he going to say, "This is one of the followers of Ali Muhammad"? The essence of why we are here, of why we celebrate, of all of these things that we do is to prepare ourselves and to be on this journey so that eventually on that day, When we are gathered together, they will look at us and they will be proud of us. They will say, these are from our followers. My brothers and sisters, this though is a process. It's a struggle. There is a lot of hardship involved with being amongst those that are recognized as the Shia, the true Shia of Ali. In the coming 2 nights, what I wanted to do is I wanted to select a virtue, a characteristic. And it is something which each and every one of us is able to practice. I wanted to select this virtue, open it up a little bit, inshallah, so that perhaps when it comes to this virtue, we can be from the elite. My brothers and sisters, this is a virtue that if you don't have it, all of your ibadah is a waste. All of your prayers is a waste. All of your night worship is a waste. All of the recitation of the Qur'an that you perform is a waste. Everything that you do, you're not going to get anywhere with it until and unless you do this one thing. And it's so simple. And yet, especially for those of us raised in this society, it is a characteristic that we tend to take lightly. We don't really pay that much attention to it. What is this virtue? What is this characteristic? It is none other than ihsan towards one's parents. Goodness, showing goodness towards one's parents. It is one of those things that in the Qur'an, in the ahadith, and we're going to open this up tonight and tomorrow night, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Ahlul Bayt, they mention very clearly that without this, none of your other actions are really going to matter. This is the prerequisite. This is the foundation of your Islam. This is the foundation of being a lover and a follower of the Ahlul Bayt. Let's inshallah open up this topic and see, number one, what does the Holy Qur'an have to say about goodness towards parents? Recite a salawat, please. Allahumma ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When we look at the verses of the Qur'an, one of the verses, what a strange verse as well. This verse of the Holy Qur'an, it begins by saying the following. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبْرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse, He says that your Lord has decreed, He has commanded, you have to do this, that you shall not worship anyone other than Allah. Then He says, and He has enjoined kindness to the parents. Should they reach old age, either one of them or both of them, do not even say to them, uff, but rather speak to them words of generosity, words of kindness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes it very clear that one of the things that I want from you is to show ihsan towards your parents, goodness towards your parents. Now some of you might be wondering, what does it mean to show ihsan to one's parents? It's a concept with every society has its own unique brand of goodness. But at a core level, what ihsan means is that in the society that you live in, when someone looks at the way that you are treating your parents, the way that you are speaking with your parents, the things that you do for your parents, they are going to look at you and they are going to say, this is a good son. This is a good daughter. He or she manifests goodness towards the parents. They go above and beyond. And so whatever that society recognizes as goodness, as ihsan, that is how you achieve that rank which is mentioned in the Holy Qur'an. Whether it could be calling your parents more regularly, Whether it could be doing household chores for your parents, especially as they begin to get older. Whether it could be checking up on them, visiting them, hugging them, showing affection towards them, whatever it is. Whatever that society recognizes as ihsan, that is what we need to do to be amongst those which this verse is speaking about. And then it gets a little bit more interesting. The Qur'an says that when they reach old age, when people get older, they slow down. Some of you might have noticed it with your parents, that as they are getting older and older, it's more difficult for them to do things. When they walk a little bit slower. When they talk a little bit slower. They don't have as much patience. Maybe they say something which hurts you, it bothers you. It is in these moments that Allah, He commands that you should not even say the word uff to them. You know what the scholars have said about the word uff in the Arabic language? They have said that it is the least word of contempt which the Arabic language possesses. Meaning that there's nothing lower or less than that through which you can show contempt or you can show displeasure towards someone. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah is making it very clear that I don't want you to even say this word to them. You do not even say uff to them. In English, sometimes we say, we're tired of someone. It's very light, it's very low, it doesn't mean anything. Allah says, do not even say this type of language towards your parents. Now, for those of you who noticed something interesting about this verse, I don't know if you noticed it. The verse, it combines two concepts that if I or you was to be asked about that concept, we would say these two concepts don't have anything to do with one another. Did you notice? The verse begins with what? It begins with Tawheed. What does it say? It says your Lord has decreed that you should not worship anyone other than Allah. And then it goes right into the next concept. What does it say? It says, and He has enjoined kindness to the parents. Subhanallah, look at what Allah is showing us through this verse. He is showing us that if you are a follower of Tawheed, if you want to obey Allah, you want to worship Allah, then know that you cannot worship Allah until and unless you show this ihsan to your parents. In the culture that we come from, for those of us raised here in the West, goodness towards parents is something which is not really recognized. I don't know, you've seen people, it's almost like in the animal world. I was watching National Geographic, and it was showing these reptiles, these lizards, that they would lay these eggs, and as soon as they would lay these eggs and the eggs would hatch, the children would run off and the parents would run off. It was like there was no connection between them. This is the culture that we see in the modern day world, that as soon as kids, they turn 18, it's over. That connection is finished. Allah is saying that just as the foundation of Islam is based upon Tawheed, then if you want to be a true muwahhid, then you have to also include this goodness to your parents. Another verse of the Qur'an, it continues with this same concept. What does it say? 31:14. It says that we have enjoined man concerning his parents. What is Allah saying here? He says that his mother carried him through weakness upon weakness. For those of you who are mothers, you know how much suffering pregnancy involves. How much difficulty pregnancy involves. How all of those feelings, emotions, becoming sick every night, all of these things that come along with it. Allah is reminding us of this because sometimes we forget. His mother carried him through weakness upon weakness, and his weaning took 2 years. Then Allah, He says, I want you to give thanks to me and to your parents. And then He reminds us that to me is going to be your return. But it doesn't make sense. Why in the world is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connecting thanking Allah with thanking your parents? Because Allah is the source. He is the creator. He is the provider. He is the protector. He is the one that has given us all of these things. Then why is He saying that I want you to thank me and I want you to thank your parents? The reason, my brothers and sisters, is that when we think about the things which Allah has given to me and you, we recognize that He's given it to us through the medium of our parents. If He gave us food, how did He give us food? He gave it through our parents, literally through our mothers. If He gave us protection and security, He gave it to us through our parents. If He gave us adab, if He gave us religion, if He gave us the love of Amirul Mu'mineen, He gave it to us through who? He gave it to us through our parents. Allah is saying that if you want to show thanks to me, then it is obligatory upon you to also show thanks to the intermediary through which I gave you all of these blessings. My brothers and sisters, this is the essence of our faith. This is the essence of our religion. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You know, one time somebody came up to the Holy Prophet and they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. They asked him a question that, Ya Rasulullah, can you please tell us about the rights of the mother and the father? Now when the Holy Prophet is asked a question like this, what do we expect? We expect the Prophet to begin to list all of the rights which the mother has, the father has, and we have traditions like this. But in this particular tradition, do you know what the Holy Prophet responds with to this individual? He looks at the individual and he says, indeed, those two, they are your paradise and your hellfire. Just imagine that. He is saying that if you want to achieve paradise, your parents are the means through which you achieve paradise. And if you don't do your duty towards them, then the hellfire is what awaits. My brothers and sisters, so often we pursue spirituality through acts of ibadah, and those things are important. We wake up for Salat al-Layl, we recite extra Qur'an, we recite dua. In the months of Rajab we fast, in the month of Ramadan we fast. We do all of these extra actions which are pleasing to Allah. But sometimes we do these things and we forget the easiest option which Allah has placed literally sometimes within our own homes. We go through all of that hardship which is good, but then we avoid the easy blessing which Allah has placed right there. He just says, just be good to them. And you're going to achieve on a level of spirituality something which maybe you're not going to be able to achieve otherwise. Sometimes the greatest blessings of Allah are literally within our own homes, close to us, and we don't know, we ignore them completely. Now, my brothers and sisters, sometimes when it comes to these issues, and I wanted to explain this, some people, they ask the question, how is it that parents are given this level of importance in Islam? Because it seems as if it's a little bit too much. Okay, we understand that parents, they raised us and they protected us and they exerted efforts towards us, but why is it that it has this level of effect? Because when we look at the traditions, some of the traditions are a little bit interesting in this way, that for example, one of the traditions, and this is a tradition from Imam Hadi alayhi salam, he mentions the following, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam Hadi alayhi salam, he mentions that acting in a way which hurts the parents, he says that it brings about poverty and disgrace. Sometimes, and again, this is not every time, poverty is sometimes a test by Allah. Sometimes it is a means of test, sometimes it is a blessing. It protects us from other greater dangers. But sometimes we are doing everything right, and we don't know why we are stricken by poverty. We don't know what's going on. And the cause of it goes back to the way that we treated our parents on an occasion. And we are out there struggling, working hard in order to make more money, not realizing that the source of the poverty is not that. It is rather found within our own homes. In other narrations, it mentions that when you show goodness to your parents, you know what Allah does? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He extends your lifespan. Now here, it's a question. What in the world does being good to your parents have to do with my lifespan? How in the world, if I say something mean, if I speak ill words to my mother, to my father, why is it that it will shorten my lifespan? I don't understand. What's the connection? The problem here is that we have an issue understanding the reality of this existence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for me and you. When I look at the world, what do I see? I see a world that is cause and effect, and it is a world of physical cause and effect. That's all I see. That's all I focus upon. But what we don't realize, my brothers and sisters, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created alongside this world of physical cause and effect that we are in right now, He has also created a metaphysical world of cause and effect as well. And there are some actions that even though we don't understand, we don't see, we don't really understand how it works, how it functions, Allah says that if you do this, it's going to have this kind of an effect. And so one of these things is that element of being good to the parents, that if you do this, it is going to extend your lifespan. If you do this, it is going to increase your rizq. If you do this, it is going to shower all of these blessings upon you, both physical blessings as well as spiritual blessings. It's very important that we focus upon these attributes of the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Here I wanted to open a story. And this is a story which has been narrated in regards to a very pious individual who lived very short period ago. He passed away not too long ago, by the name of Rajab Ali Khayyat. For those of you who might not have heard, Rajab Ali Khayyat, and there's a book, by the way, that's in Farsi and it's also been translated into the English language. Rajab Ali Khayyat was a man that was renowned for his ability to see into people. You know, when I look at a person, I see, for example, they have a nice beard, they just got a haircut, right? They're wearing very nice clothing. Rajab Ali Khayyat, when he looked, and this is those things which the arifs can also see, that when they look at you, they can see into your soul in a way. They can see the metaphysical reality in a way. Rajab Ali Khayyat could look and he could see, for example, the sins that you had committed, the good actions that you had performed. This is the power that Allah had given him. One day, there was a young man who owned a business. And this was in Iran. It was happening in Iran. He says that one day I realized that everything that I was doing with my business, it wasn't reaping any results, any benefit. He says that no matter how much effort I put in, how hard I worked, how many hours I was staying at the shop, how much I thought about the next move, the next step, he says, regardless of all of those things, my debt began to mount. And as my debt mounted, I began to become very stressed, because in Iran at that time, if you had debt, it wasn't like the US where you file for bankruptcy. They had a debtor's prison, right? If you had enough bills, what would happen? The police would come, they would put the handcuffs on you, and off you go to the debtor's prison until when? Until someone had mercy on you and they paid your bills. And if the bills were very high, there was going to be no mercy, right? That's usually how it works. He says that I was becoming more and more stressed. One day somebody said to me, why don't you go see Rajab Ali Khayyat? Maybe he has a dhikr. Maybe he has a ta'weez. He has something going on that he can give it to you, and all of these issues will be resolved. He says, I went and I saw Rajab Ali Khayyat. I said, Rajab Ali, I've been having these issues in my life. Everything was going well before. It's become topsy-turvy. Please give me a dua I can recite, something I can do. Rajab Ali, he takes one look at him and he says that you have an issue with your mother. Your mother is upset at you. And that is the cause of all of these problems that you have been facing for the past month. The young man, he says, Rajab Ali, I don't have any issues with my mother. My mother lives in our house. We're good with each other. We're on speaking terms. Rajab Ali, he says, but that's what I see. The young man, he goes back home. He calls his mother. He says, mother, please come. The mother comes. She says, what is it? She says, please sit down. I want to speak with you for a few minutes. The mother sits down. He says, mother, I have a question. I want you to be honest with me. Tell me the truth, whatever it is. The mother says, what is it? He says, mother, is it the case that you are upset with me? Have I done something to you that you're upset? The mother looks down. She says, my son, why are you asking me this question? He says, please, mother, just tell me the truth. The mother says, yes, I'm upset at you. He says, why? When? What happened? We're on good terms. She says that last month, I don't know if you remember, we had finished eating lunch. And as your wife was clearing the table, I was sitting to the side, and suddenly you looked at me and you began to yell at me and you said, mother, do you think that I have brought a slave in bringing this wife to my house? Why is it that you are not helping clear the table? She says, this broke my heart. Because for a lifetime I had served you, and now that I have become old, I don't have the energy anymore to get up and help clear the table. She says, this broke my heart, but I didn't say anything. I kept quiet. The son, he says that I began to kiss my mother's feet. I apologized profusely. She did dua for me. She said, all is forgiven. Don't worry about it, my son. He says that from that moment on, I realized that regardless of what had been happening in the past, all of those issues were reversed. Suddenly, all of the problems that I had in my business, all of those issues were resolved. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My brothers and sisters, how often do we pursue success in the physical realm? How often do we go after, whether it's financial, whether it's social, whether we want to have more degrees, more rank, whether we want to be respected, whatever it is. How often do we pursue the physical cause and effect, neglecting these things that Allah has said so easily, if you do this, everything is going to change in your life. How often do we do this? One of the things that when we want to be a follower of Amirul Mu'mineen, of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and it's this blessed day, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the easiest ways of becoming someone of rank before Ali, someone of rank before the Ahlul Bayt, where they recognize this is from our Shia, it is this action of ihsan towards parents. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us this tawfiq of implementing this. And inshallah, tomorrow night we will continue where we left off tonight. There's a few more stories, And there is also some areas that we need to navigate, because a lot of times the problems that erupt between children and their parents, it's not just black and white. It isn't just being good towards them. You have to navigate. Sometimes there are issues, there are arguments, and we have to know how to navigate these issues on a practical level. Inshallah, we'll leave this for tonight, and we will continue tomorrow night. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
Please give a loud salawat for Maulana.
Thank you, Maulana, for that beautiful speech. And we are very blessed and honored to have Maulana Sayyid Ali Mousavi with us here. And we like to continue to have his blessing of his presence in our next activity. So Mominin Mominat, we're going to be starting the Kahoot activity. It's a live trivia game that you can tune in from your phone. If you have a mobile device, you can give it to your children, or you can play